The modern trend in interior decoration. Photoplay, June 1928. Enter skyscraper furniture. Here is the ultra-modernistic twin bed, as lovely Florence Vidor utilizes it in her new picture, The Magnificent Flirt. The beds are in the newest motif of curves and angles. They are built upon a dais, a built-in feature. The canopy of gold cloth is draped flatly to the slate-gray walls. The twin beds are covered with severely plain satin spreads of deep magenta, bound in black velvet. Low tables, chairs, and harmonious cushions are scattered about the spacious, uncarpeted room. Like it? What would Grandma have said about this boudoir? Grandma loved her cozy corners, but this is something else again. This galaxy of color and exotic line would never pass for a boudoir of a decade ago. But, as Miss Vidor points out, the ultra-modernistic boudoir offers the imagination little restraint, and maybe is more interesting than its predecessors. The walls and carpeting are turquoise green. A fur robe covers one of the low couches. Mauve, vermilion, green, and blue are included in the variegated color scheme. The 1928 bath. The ultra-modern idea is to conceal the plumbing beneath floors of marble and walls of foaming sea blue. A cylindrical black lacquer dressing table and a geometrical perfume stand bring the boudoir to the very edge of the sunken Roman bath, hidden by sliding floor. Miss Vidor is an enthusiastic follower of the new curve angle trend that is creeping into the up-to-the-minute home. Father is going to protest, especially when he has to get his soap out of a high vase, such as the one behind Miss Vidor. More furniture in the ultra-modernistic mood. You will see this in Miss Vidor's The Magnificent Flirt. Here you have the new trend in interiors. Note the background, a green of gold with black leaf motif. Low table of black, lamp of yellow, green, and blue, chair of flame red, floor painted black, highly polished. Miss Vidor's gown of white satin, without adornment, is in the new manner too. Fashion in feminine apparel, says Hollywood, is to follow that of interiors, discarding all that is useless and uninteresting. Life inside the Goldwyn Gate. Photoplay, July 1922. A Photoplay pass permits you to enter the magic land of the cameras at Culver City, California, where you will get a glimpse of the fascinating world of films. Here are a few close-ups to convince you that a studio is more than just a factory where they make pictures, that the players are really regular folks. 4 little Goldwyn girls, doing their daily morning parade from the wardrobe department to the stages. They carry their costumes in their arms, what part of them they are not wearing. You may read from left to right, Winter Blossom, Helen Ferguson, Colleen Moore, and Jacqueline Logan. It's a hot day, so Helene Chadwick orders just plain sody. This fountain is patronized probably by more celebrities than any other in the world. Goldwyn's is considered the most complete and modern film plant on the coast, and often entertains visiting celebrities. Rupert Hughes, the author-director, is escorting the internationally noted sculptress and writer Claire Sheridan on a tour of the lot. Through this imposing entrance gate to the Goldwyn Studios pass everyday, eager aspirants, established stars, extras, character actors. Certainly no girl would want a more charming boudoir. Jacqueline Logan gives Mr. McIntyre something to think about when she insists that her salary be so much for each finger of her hand. It is McIntyre who selects the players for parts in Goldwyn Pictures. Every comfort and convenience is provided by Goldwyn for its studio employees. Here, a nurse is rendering first aid in the hospital on the lot to an actor who has met with an accident. The Goldwyn studio is such a nice place to work that the players almost hate to go home. Molly Malone and Helene Chadwick have finished, but they want to examine this motorcycle. When the front porch became a location. Photoplay, December 1920. It became a location in August, before the grass had all been trampled out of Senator Harding's lawn, before the Marion police, both of them, had succumbed to nervous prostration, and even before very many people had found the front porch. The movies were on the job with the Republican candidate for President of the United States as early as the newspapers, and they sent their representative contingent to greet him in his home, even before any formal newspaper call, other than the visits of the regular reporters. It was to be a combined pilgrimage from stage and picturedom. But when it left New York City late in an August afternoon in 3 special cars, the screen folks outnumbered the stage stars 2-1. Prominent in the gathering were Miss Texas Guinan, who had just returned from 2 years of Wild Western picture making, Eugene O'Brien, who went along to give Marion a look at a real live romantic actor, Miss Ruby DeRaymer, Lou Cody, treating the sedate state of Ohio to some male vamping, and Miss Zena Keefe. Notable in the representation from the speaking stage were comedian Al Jolson, Leo Carrillo, of Lombardi Limited fame, and Miss Blanche Ring. After the crowd had detrained and had been led to the door of greatness by an especially brazen and enthusiastic band, Senator Harding gave them the porch and the parlor, and Mrs. Harding, equally hospitable and enthusiastic, proffered all the house. They simply told Harding that they and all their fellows were with him, and then they turned right around and came right home again. They seemed to be for Harding and Coolidge. Henry Dixie holding the flag, Leo Carrillo just in front of him. You can't miss Ruby DeRaymer. On the right, Lou Cody and Eugene O'Brien. Senator Harding speaking to the delegation of stage and picture stars. On the left is Miss Texas Guinan, and the chap in the center who's taking it all in is Al Jolson. Slanguage of the studios. Words do not always mean what they sound like before the Hollywood Kligs. Photoplay, August 1927. "Shake 'em," said the juicer to Ann and Bob one night, but Bobby didn't know he meant intermission for the light. "Just mask that light," Sir Philip said. "'Tis plain that is your duty. Neil Burns is full of helpfulness, Miss Marion of beauty." "A number," called the cameraman, "to mark the scene securely. Miss Marion's will help the cutter, but Neil's is wrong, oh surely." "Light that bank" is often heard on movie sets and stages, while Anne is doing it just right. B. Vernon's fit for cages. "More spaghetti," said Bill Perry to Anne when he craved cable. Bobby Vernon did his best, the best that he was able. "Bill the baby," was the order which fell on waiting ears. Anne Christie doused the baby spot. Bob's eyes were filled with tears. "Hit 'em," was the cry from Perry, craving bright illumination. While Anne is bidding his command, Bobby thinks of ruination. "Save 'em," said the chief electrician, who thought his aids quite nifty. Anne Christie promptly doused the arcs, while Bobby got real thrifty. Romantic Estate, now Griffith's Studio. Photoplay, May 1920. The most romantic thing we can think to tell you about the old house and rambling grounds revealed here is that one day last fall, when the house was boarded up as it had been for years, and everything seemed unusually deserted, a very thin, very drawn-looking old man in a shining limousine drove through the gates, got out, walked slowly about, almost wistfully as though searching for some vestige of his younger, more vigorous days, and then drove away. The visitor was John D. Rockefeller. He had come to see the estate where he used oftentimes to be a guest. The halls and grounds of the estate at Orienta Point, Mamaroneck, Long Island, which is rapidly being made into David Wark Griffith's new Eastern workshop, was one time the summer home of Henry M. Flagler, Rockefeller's lifelong friend and business associate. Part of the house was built in 1882 at a cost of $230,000, tremendous for those days, for his first wife, who died before it was completed. He married again, but the second Mrs. Flagler was adjudged mentally incompetent. For his third wife, Mr. Flagler had an $80,000 wing added to the original house. Under the Griffith regime, the rooms which once were gay with fashionable house parties will be stripped of their grandeur and used as administrative offices, wardrobe and dressing rooms, and lounges for players. The studio itself is built behind and attached to the house. "This old clock over the fireplace in the front hall could sure tell some tales," says William Cohen, caretaker for Henry M. Flagler for 29 years and now with Griffith. The deadline for strangers in Flagler's day was the lodge gate. Today, the deadline is the telephone girl in the front hall of the house. What would be a $310,000 summer home without its old oaken bucket? The rest of the house is on the other side of the tower. This is only a wing, built for the third Mrs. Flagler and her maids. It increased the total room capacity of the house to 47. This house was built too long ago for electricity. Mr. Flagler spent thousands of dollars on glittering gas candelabras and quaint wall lamps. This table, valued at $2,000, used to figure in Standard Oil Company directors' meetings, as it does now in a coming picture of Dorothy Gish. Can you imagine anything less than a duchess feeling at home coming down this grand staircase? The house was built around it, and the great hall extends clear to the roof.